All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Purple Menace podcast. Geoff Craig here with Billy Wessels.
I'm going to let the world know it just happened.
And Matt Jennings.
Hey, Geoff, how are you doing?
Hey, welcome aboard, buddy. It's the first time we got you on.
I know. I'm excited to do it. I've missed out the last couple weeks. I'm excited to jump on this with you guys.
Yes, it's week 5 of the Purple Menace podcast, and we are now world famous because we have over like 1,000 views total.
Wow, for 4
weeks.
That's pretty good.
Hey, it's something.
That's pretty
good. So
I'm not
Billy and
ashamed
I,
of
we're
that.
chug-a-lugging along.
So don't drag us down, Matt.
I'll do my best.
We've brought Matt in this week. We're doing it. We just left Coach P's press conference. We're over here at KTCU. Awesome for them to let us use the studio over here. And it's game week. We're just 2 days away from kickoff.
It's good.
So
I'm
this
really
is by far going to be our best show because it has to, or we're all fired.
No, not all of us will be fired.
Billy's still employed.
There you go.
Probably Matt, too.
Yeah, probably. He's got tenure.
I'm fired.
If anyone's going to go.
I didn't get that memo that I made it through the 10-year
yeah, you
process.
got tenure. You can say whatever you
sweet.
want.
So those that don't know, Purple Menace Podcast, Rivals.com, it's tcu.rivals.com if you want to read all the fantastic stuff that Billy and Matt have been churning out. Trey Fallon also writes some good stuff, and I just put my first thing. Billy's
coming up.
You going to post it tomorrow?
I'm going to post it tomorrow morning, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Geoff's game plan, so look out for that. So go over to tcu.rivals.com, check out our stuff. Otherwise, Geoff doesn't get paid.
Yep.
Geoff doesn't
That's all I
get
have
paid.
to say about that.
Billy and Matt still get paid, but if you don't go check out the site and read stuff and subscribe, Geoff doesn't get paid.
I'm pretty sure Billy wrote the check yesterday, so I think it's okay.
You're getting it in the mail tomorrow. My bank, which is Bank 3 or whatever you guys use here, it says you're getting your check tomorrow.
Fantastic. All right, so here's what we're going to talk about this week. Since it is game week, we're going to get into the normal routine of how this show's going to go week in and week out. We're going to start off.
If you like the first 4 episodes, you might as well stop listening now.
Because we're changing it up.
Everything.
Well, you still get me and Billy acting a fool. Mm-hmm. And now we're bringing Matt to act a fool as well.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk TCU football. Oh, Matt, if you haven't looked, you need to go check when we're talking about you because I'm surprised people didn't start sending you Kermit memes.
They definitely
Kermit sipping tea.
We asked them all to.
Hey, guys, that's not how I sound.
Well, do you like your voice?
I like my voice. Do you guys not like it?
No,
you guys think I sound like Kermit the Frog? Is that what it is?
I tried to do an impression of you, and it sounded like Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, he did an impression last week.
The meme where it's Kermit's in there. I'm going to say something, but that's none of my business. And so we asked everyone to send you those, and I guess they did not.
Well, no, not yet. I'm still waiting.
You can try it again, people.
They're probably sending them to via snail mail, so it's probably taking a while.
Actually printed them out.
Has anyone ever mailed a meme, like physically put a stamp on a meme?
Who do that?
I don't know. I'm going to do it now.
I'm going to do it now. For sure. For sure have to.
So this week we're going to do a TCU preview. We're going to do a Minnesota preview. We're going to talk a little bit of recruiting, which Billy's just going to spring it on us.
Yeah.
The surprise element of live radio.
Matt did something cool yesterday.
Matt's
going to handle that.
I was left out of the loop on this
His
one.
boy, Siwo.
I'm going to be just as excited as the listener. And then at the end of the show, how we wrap things up, we'll make our predictions for final score of the game, player of the game, and their stats. Ready? All right. We're going to take a break. We're going to jump right in. TCU football coming up next.
The Exquisite Corpse. A very unusual and completely amazing story pieced together out of so many parts that it is not possible to describe them all here, so go ahead and just start reading. The full moon lights the silver rails winding around dark mountains and over steep gorges of jagged rock and one freezing cold, rushing black mountain river. I wish there was enough time to describe all of the funny twists and turns, especially the elephant clown party, that led up to now, but there isn't enough time, because there is a ticking clock. And the 2 passengers we care most about don't know anything about it. In a sleeping berth in the 3rd car from the end of the train are 2 children, 11-year-old twins who have just run away from the circus. The girl's name is Nancy, the boy's name is Joe. They have no idea that those are not their true names, though they will figure it out soon enough. To see what happens next, visit read.gov to read The Exquisite Corpse, a riveting adventure pieced together by John Sheska, Shannon Hale, Daniel Handler, and other popular authors. Explore new worlds. Read. This exciting message is brought to you by the Library of Congress and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Purple Menace podcast. Geoff Craig, Billy Wessels, Matt Jennings. We're here, and we're going to talk some TCU football. Are you guys ready to talk about TCU football? Let's do this. TCU football.
I guess we could talk about TCU football. I mean, we've only been getting hyped for what's happening in 2 days for a long time now.
For a month. All right. TCU takes on Minnesota. Hype train, obviously,
it's
all
off the
around.
Rails. It's off the rails.
Number 2 in the nation, and everybody wants to talk about Trevon Boykin with good reason.
Yeah, if you were at the press conference today, which no one else listening, I'm guessing is, maybe a couple people were, but just it's like it's just so much time on Trevon Boykin. It's like 10 minutes face to face with Trevon, and then a handful of minutes with Ty Slanina, which I think had a lot to do with Trevon and the rankings for some reason. But yeah, I mean, everyone's talking about Trevon Boykin this, Boykin that, and I mean, I'm excited. Are y'all excited? I think we could.
No, absolutely. I think he's rightfully garnered a lot of hype this offseason. And well, the crazy thing about him is he has an opportunity to be not just significantly better this season. Just look at his numbers. I mean, he was phenomenal last year in his first year in the air raid, but he only completed like 61% of his passes, which is good, but it's not ideal. And so he's still got kind of a high ceiling left to kind of try and reach this season. And it's going to be, I think that'll probably be the biggest determining factor in how this season goes, is how much more can he grow this season.
And I think this year that the running game is going to be better. And, we'd all talked about one of the reasons that, this team was really fantastic last year was they've got so much speed that they're able to beat teams over the top, and they take they try to strike early, and they go for it early, big long let's take our shot with Listenby, who runs a 10-1 100-meter dash, and we've got Josh Doxson, and you've got guys like Ty Slanina and Deontay Gray who are burners, take shots early, but a team like Baylor establishes the run. I think this year's team, with Aaron Green, Trevorris Johnson, Kyle Hicks, Sean Nixon, is going to be able to run the ball better, and I think that's going to make this whole offense so much more.
It's going to make Boykin a lot more comfortable if he can have a dependable running game from snap 1, game 1 versus snap 50, game 7, when we finally got a good running game last season. I think giving him more time, more options even will just make him go. I mean, he should have been a Heisman contender last year. He's definitely going to be a Heisman front runner this year for sure.
Absolutely.
I think the games where they were most dangerous on offense were the games when they were able to have that balance on offense last year. From Texas to the Peach Bowl to Iowa State, the games where they ran people out of the gym. That's what they were able to do. Is you had to pick one, and you were going to lose either way.
Yeah, and Aaron Green last year when he took over.
Phenomenal.
When he became the starter, he averaged 109 yards on 17 carries a game.
Didn't start a game until Kansas State.
Yep.
And killed it in that game, and
Has
almost
not
ran
stopped
for
killing it.
almost ran for 1,000 yards, even though he didn't. I mean, he on the depth chart he was listed as a starter, but B.J. Catalon was the one who's getting the lion's share of the snaps. And I mean, Aaron just came in and just killed it for the last 6 or 7 games of the season. It was amazing.
And this could mean even more Trevorris Johnson earlier in games too, which I love watching him run over the third string safeties for Texas Tech, but getting him to see what he can do against the top guys from game 1. I mean, he might be my favorite player on this team. I love just watching him run over people. As a big man myself, I love watching big bodies do big things, and so there's another drop for you, by the way. Getting ready to watch Trevorris Johnson do some amazing things, I think, from early on this year would be great. And also, as you mentioned earlier, Sean Nixon, we're talking about this walking over here today, how excited we are to see what he can do, because GP's been talking him up for a while now. Yeah,
and another guy, I mean, Sean Nixon is a guy that, I think maybe in our first episode, I talked about he's a guy I think could really have a big year because there's so much unknown about him, but he came in with such hype. And then another guy who's flown completely under the radar, especially up to, recently, the new fullback. And this is another one because you like these big boys that can run.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Whitmell moved from linebacker to fullback. He's not going to be playing the same type of role like Cliff Murphy did, where Cliff just mauled you at 6'6" and 280 pounds. Paul Whitmell, they're actually handing this guy the ball. So you're talking about a 6'2", another 230-pound guy. You imagine putting him and Trevorris Johnson both back there in these goal line sets?
Yeah, there's no reason to throw more fades at the 1 yard line anymore.
Billy,
let's get that play out of here.
What was the?
You still can.
They're still probably going to do it a lot. But Billy, what's the nickname that you came up with for Paul again last year?
The Hit Mill.
Yeah, Paul the Hit Mill.
The Hit Mill.
That's probably good news is we're actually going to be able to see the Hit Mill this year.
I'm excited to see him play. And I do think it's funny that walking over here, we walked past both Paul Whitmore and Sean Nixon. I don't know if you saw Sean Nixon, but we walked by both of them walking over here. It's good to be back on campus. It's good to be like, I don't know. I miss this place, and it's good to see all the fresh faces, all the young people. And
the new parking garage, which you didn't know existed until like 8 seconds ago.
It's true, we drove by, and I was like, oh, there's the garage Matt was telling me existed. I still don't know how we're going to get into it, but I'm excited about it.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the whole season. We talked a little bit about the offense here. Everybody kind of knows what to expect. This was a team that averaged 46 points a game last year. So can it get better? I mean, Billy, you said definitely points.
Yeah, points.
They're going to average more points, which is scary to think that you can average more than 46 points a game.
I'm going to guess they average 51.2 points a game this year.
All right. Well, we've got it. We've got it marked down right here.
Remember this.
Now, the defense. We got to talk about the defense before we switch over to talking about Minnesota. A lot of youth, but a lot of talent, a lot of speed.
Speed kills, and that's something that if you're smart, play fundamentally sound, and are fast, you're going to play in GP's defense. You don't even have to be necessarily fast. And we saw guys like Jeff Hooker thrive in this defense. You can just be smart and heady and play well, plays fundamentally sound.
I think
you'll succeed.
Jeff Hooker, I feel like, got a bad rap because he was white.
He
was white, and so
that has something to do with it.
And he spelled his name with a G.
That's true. But so does
Shout out Jeff Hooker.
Mike Freeze.
So does our wonderful Jeff Craig. No, I think Mike Freeze is going to be a huge addition to this defense. I think his athleticism, they've been raving about his speed since he stepped in. Like before spring practice started, there were kind of mutterings before spring practice started that he wasn't going to be like participating in practice at all.
Yeah.
And it comes to the final week of practice and we get to the spring scrimmage and he's starting and he's not giving up any of those first team reps. And I, for one, was surprised by that, to say one thing, but it speaks to his speed and his ability to kind of grasp this defense fairly quickly, and I think that bodes well for him. And again, the good news for him is your first, especially your first 3 games, but really your first 6 or 7 games, it's not against your worst competition. So when you're inevitably going to have your growing pains, where you're going to take your lumps, hopefully the stakes won't be as high for TCU, and he'll get things kind of figured out as you head into November.
I'm going to go on record and say that I think by the end of this season, this linebacking core of Mike Freeze and Sammy Douglas and Ty Summers will be better than last year's of Marcus Mallett, P.J. Dawson, and Jonathan Anderson.
What's a more stupid guess? My picking 50 points or that what he just said?
By the end of the year, because I think this team...
Because Paul Dawson was so good.
I know, but what I'm saying is...
Paul Dawson was so good.
Paul Dawson was so instinctual, and so was Marcus Mallett. This defense with these guys, I think they have more speed, and the athletic ability is far superior to that. Sammy Douglas is an athletic freak, and then you got Summers. That's why I said the end of the year.
Yeah,
by the end of the year.
I think what Jeff's trying to say is that by the end of the year, by like the bowl game,
right,
they'll be playing better than
bowl
last
games.
year's.
They could play bowl games. There you go.
Then their counterparts last year were playing. I think next year is when you're going to see them take that step. Sammy Douglas will be a senior. But no, I don't think that's outside the realm of possibilities. I'll tell you what my hot take is for the defense this year. I think the secondary is going to be better. And that's going to sound kind of out of left field a little bit.
No, I can see it. I like Kenny Iloka, and I like Kindred, and
I think Kindred's going to be an all-conference safety. I think Ranthony Tejada was already phenomenal, especially as a redshirt freshman. He's going to get better. I think Denzel Johnson and Kenny Iloka, people keep talking about you lose Chris Hackett, you lose Sam Carter. Well, yeah, but you're not losing... You're replacing them with a senior and a junior, respectively, in Iloka and Johnson. So you're not losing... It's not like you're putting a redshirt freshman back there. And those guys are faster, more athletic. Sam Carter, love him. And he really was a phenomenal player for his entire time he was at TCU. But the reason he was so good was because he was a film rat, was because he knew the opposing offense better than anybody else. But you saw him get exposed a few times when he was having to face off against slot receivers, face off against running backs in space. Denzel Johnson, Kenny Aloka aren't guys who I think are going to have those problems. Now, you will have a new number 2 corner. That's always an issue. The number 2 corner in TCU's defense always gets picked on, especially in their first year. So that's where their weakness is going to be. But as a whole unit, I think because of their athleticism, and I don't think they lose a ton in terms of experience, I think they can. I think they will be better this year.
I like that take. I think it takes more likely than Geoff's take.
Whatever. Before we wrap up the TCU segment, I think we can all agree that the defensive line is better than last year, and that's even scarier. So that I think helps everyone.
Everyone can play every position. It seems like they're just a revolving door. It's like volleyball. Do you watch volleyball? I don't know if you watch volleyball.
Yes.
It's basically just the rotation they do. You could basically start. All right, you're going to start at D. You're going to start at right end. Then you're going to start at tackle, left end, and then you're going to get off the field for a couple plays. They're not going to do that, but it seems like they can all.
They
do
run
that.
like 8 deep on defense. On
it's
defensive
insane.
line. The thing is, and this goes a little bit into Tevin Lawson, who's a 4-star recruit out of high school, and might be the best athlete that they have on the defensive line, never gets on the field because they've got Mike Tua'ua and they've got James McFarland, who might be their best, most senior pass rusher. You got Terrell Lathan, who's a freak athlete. You got Josh Carraway, who has shown flashes of awesome playmaking ability. You have Davion Pearson and Chris Bradley and now Aaron Currier transferred from Nebraska. I mean, they are so deep along that. They don't have one dominant player, but as a unit, it's the most intimidating unit in the conference, I think.
You didn't mention one guy GP's talked a lot about is Bryson Henderson. I think GP's in love with that guy.
Another athletic freak.
Just a tall, leaner defensive end, but he's another guy that can just play.
Absolutely. All right, so we hope you enjoyed our TCU segment. We'll be right back with Minnesota's preview right after this.
I'm Rachel Ray, and food is not only the way I make my living, it's how I spend time with my family and friends. It's hard to imagine true hunger, but sadly, 1 in 6 Americans don't know where their next meal will come from. They're your neighbors, your friends, your coworkers. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger to find out how you can make a difference. I'm Rachel Ray, and together, we are Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Purple Menace podcast. Geoff Craig, Billy Wessels, jamming out to some Daft Punk.
Dude, this is a good album, by the way.
Fantastic.
I don't know if you heard it or not.
Oh, I own it. Don't you worry about that. This song is called Give Life Back.
Yeah.
Because since we talked about TCU football, I feel like we should give some back and talk Minnesota football.
Or we're just giving life back to football this week, because that's kind of where we're at in the schedule, in the season, in the year.
We're probably going to have to give Minnesota life
Probably.
support.
Hopefully no one's seriously injured, because that could happen in football, but hopefully TCU wins big.
Yes.
Hopefully they trail 14-0, then come back to win all the points. That's a teaser to my predictions.
Yeah, really, I don't know what you're talking about. 14-0. You were talking about something earlier at the press conference about that. I think you're insane, but I've thought that for a while. That's why we do a podcast.
Yep.
Now, Minnesota. We've talked about TCU. You know the weapons. Minnesota, you probably don't know as much about. Minnesota, pro-style offense, heavy on the run, heavy on play action. They're a big, strong, physical team. They've got 3 returning offensive linemen. They've got 2 new guys. I believe it's the left guard and the right tackle. They're both big old hog mollies. I mean, they will maul you.
That's what happens in the Big Ten, though. There's some gigantic linemen.
Churn out some offensive linemen. They can run the ball. They lost David Cobb and Max Williams. They're 2 best offensive players. That's going to hurt them.
Yeah.
But they have some good young talent still. Matt Leidner is their quarterback. He's a big boy, 6'5", 230. Not a great completion percentage last year, but when you talk about the type of offense they run, it's run the ball on first down, run the ball on second down, and then you try to set up a play action on 3rd and short. If you can eliminate that from happening, you've taken the ball out of Minnesota's court. They're in trouble if you make them 3rd and long. And so for TCU, they've got to attack that. For Minnesota, it's going to be run the ball, play action.
Yeah.
Roderick Williams is a redshirt senior. He's actually from Louisville, so he's a local tie here kid. Only has a little over 100 yards in his career rushing, but he was behind a pretty good running back for the last 3 years.
Cobb was a beast.
he may surprise some people. There's not a whole lot of tape on him, and you got to be worried about he's a smaller guy, too, like 5'9", 195, 200 pounds.
Sneaky.
Yeah, B.J. Catalan type guy, shifty. You get him behind big linemen, they disappear, and he can make some plays. So Minnesota's got some weapons there. They've got a couple of young wide receivers. They may even have a couple true freshmen that have come in that may be, Jerry Kill's been real. He's like Patterson when it comes to not wanting to tell you anything about anything.
I think it's got all to do with them playing each other this year.
Oh, absolutely.
I think because they're BFFs, and it's just, I think they're, but for real, for Minnesota, if Minnesota wins this game, how huge is that for that program? It's just like TCU beating Oklahoma last year at home. It's the same sort of situation.
And Minnesota's playing in a new stadium as well. I mean, they're packing fans in and things. They played really well last year, and they play in a tough conference. But for them to succeed, though, they're going to have to do everything right to beat TCU.
And then maybe on fourth downs, sometimes they'll have to go for it. Anyway, go on.
I just want to just turn my mic off. And
Yep.
leave. Yeah, they're going to go for it.
Yep.
They probably will. If it's fourth and short, I'm sure
they're going to go for it.
They're going to Minnesota Golden.
Go for it.
Go for it.
If that's not a sign somewhere in that stadium,
then they've failed their fans.
Then they're doing it wrong. Yeah.
Well, they're Minnesota. They probably don't have.
They're witty and charming and nice.
In Minnesota?
Minnesota, don't you know they're very kind. That's not right.
You went to a totally different accent.
I don't do accents well.
No.
I do not do accents well.
Can you do your Matt Jennings?
Well, Matt, I'm Matt, and I think Minnesota's okay as a state and with football.
But that's none of my business. Yeah, Matt stepped away for a bit while we were doing our Minnesota segment, so we figured we'd try to jam it in.
Yeah.
He's busy out there on the recruiting trail. Now, Minnesota's their big plus that they have is defensively. They have great defensive backs. They've got 4 seniors back there. 3 of them are returning. And Coach P said today in the press conference that Brian Body Calhoun, one of the corners that they played against, he said, we tried to get Listenby against him 4 times last year, went 0 for 4, and he said he was by far the best corner they played against all of last year.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
That says a lot. And I got to believe him. I got no reason not to believe him.
He had 5 picks and 9 pass breakups last year, and he's not a small guy. He's about 6'2", 190, 195. I mean, he's a good, solid guy, good speed. You got to have good speed if you can hold Listenby to 0 for 4.
Yeah, keep it Listenby. So how many times do you try that this year if you're TCU? You try and attack him often? Do you just maybe let him try 1 or 2, and if that doesn't work, then you got to go to a different well, or what?
I think you probably take a shot early because
that's what they did every time last year.
Yeah, you got to go ahead and still try it because I think last year was the second game of the year when you were trying these things.
Right.
You didn't really, we for sure didn't know what we had in Colby Listenby. The guy had 3 catches coming into last year. I think this year. Colby's got something to prove because everybody is definitely hyping up Josh Doxson, which why would you not?
Yeah.
And what you may remember about Brian Body Calhoun is the Doxson one-handed toe tap touchdown was against him.
That was a pretty sweet catch.
When you have to make that type of play to make the catch, that's good defense. There's nothing he could do. He did everything right. But I think Listenby's better this year than he was last year. So I think you still take your shots and maybe you could be the same situation, but Colby brings down 2 of them. So you got to take shots, but this team, they understand, and they've had time to prepare for this game because it's the first game of the year. They've watched every game from last year. They're going to be out there and maybe taking some risks as well because I think they understand that if they don't force turnovers, they really don't have a chance. So I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see Boykin maybe have an early pick 6 or just a couple of turnovers early. Maybe just going off kind of the rhythm routine thing and these guys jumping routes.
Yeah, I think that's just what they'll do. I think Minnesota has to come out and be aggressive because, like I said, this is a make-or-break game for that program. Not really a break game for the program, but if they win this game, that shoots them into shoots them up the rankings, whatever that's worth, but it just suddenly turns that program into something it's been rising since I think it's Jerry Kill's 5th year there, I think, something like that. It's been a program on the rise in that time, and if you can get a win in an opening night game on Thursday night with everybody's going to be watching you against a top 5 team that everyone thinks is going to be in the national title conversation. That says so much about you and where you're at. Absolutely. So there's our Minnesota preview. And, some of it, another reason, obviously I'm picking TCU because I think they're the better team, but that Minnesota's playing in that new stadium. It's close to a sellout, and they're at home. Sometimes teams don't play as well at home
as they do on the road, and we've seen that firsthand from TCU the last couple of years.
Nervous
so
in
there
front of all your friends and
may
family.
be a little bit more added pressure on them because it is at home. So we'll see what happens. We'll give you our predictions for what we think is going to happen later on in the podcast. Matt is walking back in right now, so we'll jump back in and we'll talk.
We better hurry up and finish the segment.
We better hurry up and go for it. So Billy and Matt are going to come back and talk a little recruiting with you here on the Purple Menace podcast.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to the Purple Menace podcast. Geoff Craig, Billy Wessels, Matt Jennings, here with you to talk recruiting. Matt, Billy, what do you got for recruiting today?
Well, we have recruits. You're going to TCU. No, basically, the biggest thing now is that now that the high school season's here, you'll see probably a little less of like committing. You should see a little less now that people are focusing more on games and focus on. You'll see visits coming on. You might see a couple more commits here and there. But now that teams are playing, kids are focusing more on what they're doing this coming Friday versus what they're going to get to do maybe on Saturdays. You'll see a lot of guys come and visit, but you won't see as much of the committing right off the bat. In fact, TCU actually lost a commit this week. I'll start on that. Rashad Paul, Bremen athlete, plays mostly quarterback in that system, but was probably going to be a wide receiver here. Chose to not go to TCU anymore. He was down to TCU and SMU. He's a 2017 guy. His only two offers were from TCU and SMU. I never really understood that one in the first place. He committed way too early. Not a whole lot of offers on there. Matt, you looking like I'm crazy.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
That was super early in the process for him, and so this is not uncommon for guys. I mean, he committed halfway through his sophomore year of high school, and that's just really, really early. So it's not uncommon for you to see.
And we say and it's a pretty good time for guys like Sean Robinson and Wes Harris, who are 2017 commits for TCU, but they've been getting attention for years and years and years now.
Already.
This guy just kind of came out of nowhere. He got his first offer, jumped on it, and was like, oh my gosh, I got to go. And then now he's like, oh, he's going to get a little more attention. He's got to cool off a little bit. Apparently OU's been a little higher on him lately. I think Kansas showing him some interest too. I mean, good for the kid. He's going to take his time and find a spot that's really good for him.
I don't blame him if he's got SMU in there, because now with Chad Morris over there, I think the ceiling's higher, and the depth chart here at wide receiver is so stocked right now.
Exactly. By then, maybe he's not going to get on the field much. Maybe he wanted to come in and try and play quarterback, and TCU's got 1 million quarterbacks coming in the next 5 years, so maybe that wasn't going to be a spot for him anyway. So, I don't know, something to think about there. And then you got something on our boy Siwo, right? Yeah,
so Siwo Alonelua, who is the second highest ranked recruit for TCU's 2016 class, started his first game essentially on defense this past week for Kingwood, who played Katy on Thursday. It did not go well.
Katy's been in the state title game, I think, 3 of the last 5 years, something like that.
Katy's super good, in case you don't know. So
they've had some good players play here.
It's not a huge thing. Lost 46-0, Kingwood did. But Siwo working mostly at safety. TCU looking at him at that position, but I feel like he's probably going to translate as a linebacker when and if he does get to Fort Worth. And so, but he had a diving interception. Basically, it's a new position for him, so he needs to work on his tackling technique, which of course will get sorted out if he gets under Gary Patterson's tutelage once he gets here. But he's an athletic freak. He's 6'2", 215 pounds. I mean, can run. And he's excited about this coming season, knows he needs to improve. I was talking to him on Sunday night, talking about he's improved a lot in terms of his pass coverage skills, which is going to be super important, regardless of the position he plays at TCU. Now, he does say that he is still listening to other schools. The two schools that have kind of been most persistent that he's most interested in are Texas A&M and LSU. Tell me if you've heard that one before. But TCU is still his number one. He doesn't have any visits planned for this fall, and he is planning, however, to make it up to a few games here in Fort Worth. So keep an eye on Siwo Alonelua. I'm going to get really good at saying that, and then his freshman year is going to come around, and everyone's going to be trying to figure out how to say it.
I can't wait
guys, come on.
I can't wait to see how GP says his name. He's just going to call him Siwo.
Alonla, something like that.
Yeah,
He still to this day, he did today call Tayo Fabrugé.
Yeah.
That's not even close to.
I just love TNA for Tua'ua.
Oh yeah, he used to call Mike Tua'ua Mike Tua'ua on a very consistent basis. So Gary's has trouble learning basically anyone's name. So it's really, it's nothing personal. Don't if ever he calls you the wrong name, don't take it personally. But Siwo, really, TCU's really excited, really, really high on him. He's going to be a great addition to this team if he does keep his commitment, and by all accounts, it seems like that's where it's leaning for right now.
Fantastic. And if you want to learn more about the recruits and everything that Billy and Matt have written up about these guys, make sure you check out tcu.rivals.com or purplemenace.com. That's the way I like to go. I just like to throw out Purple Menace. I just think it sounds better, rolls off the tongue. But we'll be right back. We're going to give you our predictions for this week, TCU at Minnesota, Thursday night. Let's do this.
There's hundreds of fun and simple things you and your family can do to live a healthier lifestyle. Here's 20 of them. Eat less, eat slower, eat smarter, eat your fruits and veggies. Stop eating before you're full. Up your fiber, lower your calories, get off the bus early, do some gardening, do jumping jacks, take the stairs, take one, not two, take on a new sport, take a long walk home, walk instead of drive, bend, stretch, reach for the stars, climb the monkey bars, skip the fudge bars. Search We Can online to find more ways you and your family can get healthy together. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
Welcome back to the Purple Menace podcast. Geoff Craig, Billy Wessels, Matt Jennings. All right, it's time to touch the sky. I picked that song because it's time to make predictions, and we're always reaching, especially Billy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Always reaching.
I reach the most, there's no doubt. But when I catch it, it's the best.
It is the best.
Like when Boy can catch his touchdowns.
From himself?
Yep.
He hasn't done that yet.
He hasn't done that yet.
But he has caught a pass from himself. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go around the room. Let's give our prediction for the score and our player of the game with their stats. Matt, since it's your first week here, you get to go first.
Oh, my. Okay, here we go. So this is kind of the score that I decided on today. I think TCU wins this game. I think it's probably close early, but they pull away, and it's a comfortable win, a 45-21 margin. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to go a little bit off the beaten track here, and I'm going to say Colby Listenby, player of the game, with like 4 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. That's going to be my prediction. I think he got really close to making a bunch of big plays against Minnesota last year, and I think he's going to actually make those catches this year.
All right, Billy, you're up.
All right.
It's about to get crazy.
Let's get weird. All right. Here's what I'm thinking. I think Fort Worth starts to burn down early in the game because TCU is trailing 14-0 after the first quarter. TCU comes back to win 56-17 with Minnesota kicking a field goal in the fourth quarter as their only remaining points. I think it's going to be something weird like that. I don't know why. It's something with the high ranking and going on the road. I can see TCU starting a little slow, maybe too much hype. The high train's getting a little too high, and then they kind of start to find themselves in that second quarter and just roll. And that kind of sets tone for the rest of the season. For a top performer, I'm going to say it's the defense. I'm going to pick a defensive guy, and I think it's going to be our boy Mike Freeze. I'm going to say he gets 2 picks, 1 pick six, show off that speed, and to kind of lead the way in his first game ever. Set this over his entire career. There you go. There's my crazy prediction.
Now, how can I top Billy's prediction?
Good luck.
How can I do it?
Hot takes raining down.
I was thinking of going defense, but you went defense. Yep. And Colby Listenby, he's one of my favorites, and Matt took him. And then I was going to go fallback, but it seems too easy to say Aaron Green because I always like to pick Aaron Green, and I'm usually pretty close. But because you picked a defense and had to throw a pick six in there, I'm going to go even crazier.
Okay.
And in light of last week's transfer decision by Cameron Eccles-Looper, I'm going to pick our new punt returner. True freshman, Kavonte Turpin.
Who? No, we don't know that. We don't know
I'm guessing.
that.
Allegedly.
I'm telling you that he's the starting punt returner.
We don't know that.
Pretty,
fair warning.
That's a pretty, going out on a limb there, Geoff. I'm not sure.
Hey, I was right
he's gonna be a phenomenal player.
when Deontay Gray was a true freshman. I said he was going to return a punt for a touchdown against Grambling, and he did.
Well,
so I'm doing the
kickoff,
same thing.
Okay, well, I didn't know you then. I didn't hear you say that.
That wasn't even born yet.
That can be a legend that you can keep spinning, but I'm not going to believe you.
No, I'm going out. I'm saying Kavonte Turpin freshman punt returner, is going to house a punt.
Man, if he
the
does
first punt,
The first
the
punt of
first
the
punt, because
2015
TCU is going to win the toss. They're going to elect to go defense first.
Okay.
3 and out, punt. Turpin houses it. TCU is up 7-0.
That's literally exactly what happened against
Minnesota. It's not going to happen because Minnesota's never going to punt. They're just going to keep gophering it.
I knew you were going to
gophering it.
And on that note,
but no, okay. Assuming Turpin wins the job, there you go. Just throw that disclaimer in there.
Yeah,
just
I mean
because.
it's not 100 because we didn't even get a depth chart today.
Yet.
We didn't get a depth chart, but he was taking a lot of reps before Loopers transferred. So I'm leaning, and when you assume,
but they're never going to punt. They're just going to go for it.
You and me, yeah.
Minnesota's going to
go for it.
Speaking of gophering it, Matthew's going to go for class.
yes.
Yep.
So
All right.
I will catch you guys later. Appreciate you guys having me on. It's been fun.
Matt, throw out the Twitter.
You can follow me at Matt A. Jennings, and of course you should follow the website itself at TCU_rivals.
Fantastic, Matt. All right, that's going to wrap up our predictions. That's going to wrap up the show.
Go Frogs.
Time for
Enjoy
Matt
the game.
to run.
8 o'clock Thursday night, ESPN. Check your local listings.
Bill, you have anybody you want to thank?
I probably my mom for getting me here to this point. Thank the wonderful people here at KTCU. I don't know them as well as y'all do, but
Russell and Janice.
Yeah, Russell and Janice. Thank you for letting us use the studio this week, and hopefully several times in the future because this is nice. It's always nice being here on campus. I enjoy it.
Yeah, and there's no fan blowing in the background like on my back patio.
I know, right? Unfortunately, less likely to see people walk through the hallways in scantily clothed, but.
Maybe we can arrange a Monday night broadcast from here.
Maybe. I do miss Wild Mowdy Mondays. Things got a little weird up here sometimes.
I was not aware of that.
Nope.
Let's do it again.
Not the way we partied at the Skiff.
Party with the Skiff.
Skiff kids.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Make sure you check out tcu.rivals.com or purplemenace.com. Same thing, same difference. And we'll be back next week, hopefully with a recap of Minnesota losing to TCU by a large margin.
Thanks to Mike Freeze's 2 interceptions.
Yes. All right, we'll be back next week. Purple Menace Podcast. And don't forget to tweet at us, to us, all your fun stuff that you want to, if you got questions.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
questions.
Fun. Little Twitter mailbag.
We like to do, and now, Billy, you're in the press box, so they can tweet you during the games.
Yeah, I actually blow up on Twitter in the games. I'm mildly entertaining. I have to say, if you like snarky commentary like I do in real life, but with a TCU football slant, you want to give me a follow at TCU_rivals and also at Billy Wessels. I get retweeted by lots of famous people. I don't know.
At Nerdist. Yeah, and then you can find me at GEOFFREYCRA_CRAIG. That is
but
Jeffrey_Craig.
But I think for at least all at TCU_rivals, I know Jeff Craig's important at all. But this will be for the Thursday game. It's fun. I love Twitter. It's my favorite piece of social media because it's like you're watching everything with millions of your closest friends. You can see who else talking about TCU all over the place. It's insane. It's going to be so much fun Thursday night.
And there's TCU people are all over the country. It's not just here.
No.
They're everywhere.
I got friends in LA that are TCU grads.
So we got to find
out
if there was only a way we could join all these people together and have
should we create an interweb?
Maybe if there was a forum that they could all get together and voice their opinions.
Should we put something on an interweb? Should it be
purplemenace.com?
That's a really good name. We should use that.
I like that. And then we'll create a forum for people to talk about the games.
Could we call it Hell's Half Acre?
I like that.
You like that?
I like that.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Purplemenace.com.
I guarantee you by the time this is done, you're done listening to this, that'll be up and running.
Yes.
I can guarantee you that.
That's going to do it for us this week. We've done our work. Purplemenace.com. Thanks for listening to the Purple Menace Podcast. I'm Jeff Craig.
I'm Billy Wessels. Bye.
We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Excuse me while I kiss this guy.